YouTube. So you guys want to find out about the pyramid stones. All right. I'm not going to say that my one vision that I'm going to give you here is the only my only thoughts on the pyramid. I think that there were multiple dynasties and multiple building techniques, and no one way defines all of the ways that they built the stones and transported them and whatever else, because there was multiple kingdoms. Um, Even in on the stele that was found or that was underneath the Sphinx, in the front of the Sphinx, I apologize. Um, Talks about how the king, or the before he was a pharaoh, he went to sleep underneath the Sphinx and got his message talking about, hey, remove the sand from my paws and rebuild this kingdom. So there was multiple kingdoms where they had fallen and failed, and the pyramids and even the Sphinx were covered in sand and laying in ruin. So there was multiple dynasties, and if you really want to go back far enough, the ancient Atlantean people actually were the ones who built the original pyramids, and then later on, the Egyptians took it over, and then somewhere in there they failed, and then their own people came back to it and rebuilt a new dynasty. And there was a lot of recasing of the pyramids and new temples and different building techniques and different technologies. There's clear evidence of it. Um, we've seen these saw marks, so we know that they had some kind of powered tools or animal powered tools or even human powered tools. We know that they had metal because King Tut was found with a steel iron dagger in his sarcophagi that was made from meteor rock. Okay, so metal that came from outer space. So they had steel. They knew about steel. They knew about how to do fine things. They knew about chemicals. They knew about all that stuff. A lot of this knowledge and stuff is ancient history or lost, especially due to the fire in Alexandria. And also keep in mind that not all of those hieroglyphics have been interpreted, and those that have been interpreted have not been interpreted um, to 100% satisfaction of the languages of their day. All right, so keep that in mind. Um, and there's lots of depictions of flying machines and technology and batteries and things like that, but we just haven't been able to authenticate it to today. And a lot of the science wants to make you think that they were dumb in the ancient days. Keep in mind that modern man has only been technologically advanced for the last 100 years, but yet these people have been around and doing things for thousands of years. You don't think anybody else in those days got bored, discovered the wheel, created or discovered electricity, did all the same things we did, and that maybe the world got messed up and they lost this technology? Go ahead and turn the power off in any major city for about a month or two and see what happens then. Grocery stores looted, people robbing and pillaging and lighting things on fire and moving out to the country where they can hunt animals and try to, farm and live and survive. All right, so think about it. Don't let these people in academia fool you. All right, do your research. All right, so anyway, back to the main thing here. So I read this book called the "Why Did the Pharaohs Build the Pyramids with Fake Stones?" All right. Now, it was a interesting book where they talk about geopolymer or agglomerated materials. Now, what this means is that he believes that, and there's good merit behind it, that they took these stones. I digress. They took they took the stones and either knew or analyzed them to know what actual components, minerals, were in there, and they made their own versions of them by pouring them like we pour concrete for the street. That's huge, because if they did that, you now don't need a ramp the size of the ramps that you need. It would explain why some of these markings, like let's take was the stone of the pregnant woman, where it looks like there's scoop marks, like this huge obelisk-looking thing that cracked. That's an interesting thing too. Had scoop marks, like it was soft at one point in time. Well, what if they poured that huge stone, just like we pour concrete and whatever else today? And what if those scoop marks all the way around it are from people with baskets scooping out the wet slag material and forming it? What if the reason why it broke is because they went too big, it was too massive, and didn't get a chance to dry in the center, and that's why it cracked? Interesting, right? Um, the pyramids, they have these knobbies on them. Why are these knobs on them? Well, if these stones were poured and you made them perfect, okay, you have to build the pyramid from the ground up, right? Okay, pretty sure you can't start at the top and build your way down. I guess technically you could build a lattice of stairs and then kind of do it from the way down. But however they built them, what if these knobbies were because they poured the material into like a sack-like enclosure and let them harden, and that was where the top of the bag was? Or what if they were in fact done on purpose, so that as you build a pyramid from the ground up, you get to the top, now you want to smooth them all out. So you make a rough stone, basically about the same angle you need, and then you chip away to make it glass-like or flat all the way down. Wouldn't your feet need some kind of knob or some kind of indentation to, as a sculptor, as you're laying on this hot pyramid on an angle, keep you from sliding all the way down? And then as you no longer need it, you chip that one away, and then the next one away, and then the next one away. So what if these people made these stones out of liquid, and those were the reasons why, as they hardened, they were chipping them away as fast as they could? But what if some of the stones hardened before they had a chance to chip them away? What if the technology was lost in the process? Or what if the people got into a war, or they got attacked, and suddenly they can't do it? Now you've got this red granite block that needs special diamond cutting tools to do it, because you didn't cut it, you didn't make it a true stone before it had a chance to dry. Just an interesting thought, something to think about. So what else do we have? There's a number of different mysteries that would be solved if that was the case. Now, don't get me wrong. There's clear evidence that they quarried a number of stones in Egypt from up the river, and we know that they floated them down. Now, were they all by ship? Did they attach reeds to them and animal bladders? We don't know. But is there evidence that there were canals and waterways going right up to the pyramids? And even the Nile River was once hundreds of miles towards, at the foot of the pyramids, at the base of the Sphinx. Yes, we have that. We know that there was water there. We know that there were lakes there. We've got people who were actually around who wrote about the pyramids and talking about that they were canals and channels and waterways and even lakes in that area, fresh water, So that also brings up the next thing. Was the pyramid a water pump? As Stephen Myers and all the rest of these awesome guys talk about. There's evidence. I mean, where did they get all this fresh water to support the number of people that live there? You're not just going to go down to the Nile and drink muddy alligator water. I mean, I guess you could. And maybe some of them did, who were poor, and filtered the water. But if you make a huge hydro pump that also probably provided electricity or some energy of some sort, because they have used machines to measure that the pyramids is giving off in its current non-functioning state still yet some energy from the top of the pyramid that they can't explain. So there are a lot of mysteries out there, and hopefully in the next couple of years we'll solve them. But yeah, just ponder the thought of, if these people, in the book, they actually do give proof. There's a statue that they have that shows a regular rock inside of the pyramid, and when you look at it, you can see that everything else had to have been liquid, and they used that rock as filler. And the slag, which was the geopolymer stone, solidified around it. Other examples are the fact that true granite, true limestone, and was it dolerite? These other stones that they have used don't, when they're made in the ground, they're made with pressure, and so there are no air bubbles in them because the air bubbles are squished out, because that's how half these things are made, because they're under tremendous amounts of pressure. But they have found through testing that a lot of these stones in Egypt and the pyramids and whatnot have air bubbles in them, and not just one found here, one found there, like enough that this was not made underground with extreme pressure. That's most of these stones are made by nature. So that's about it. I'm just here to open your mind, stimulate some thoughts, and just make you go, So stay educated, my friends. Continue to fight the good fight. Stay woke, and know thyself. All right. So, Oriel says, have a good one. Talk to you guys later.